All right, so I want to give you a little real world motivation. This weekend I went to Minnesota on a plane. And planes look roughly like this. Right? More or less?
Probably less.
Yeah, it's an eye. Planes look like a shark, right?
But the fins, yeah.
And then there's me in the very back of the plane. Because cheap seats are cheap seats, right? Okay, here's the issue. The whole freaking way from Minneapolis to San Francisco, there was this sensation of being slightly lighter and then slightly heavier, and then slightly lighter and then slightly heavier, and then slightly lighter and slightly heavier. And I kid you not, for 4 hours. Okay? I don't do air sick, but there were a number of people who were really quite air sick. And sitting next to the access for the lavatory meant that there were people who were looking kind of green standing next to me the whole way. So I have a vested interest in this. Can you describe for me why I'm bringing this up in trig class?
Because it's a graph.
Yeah, it probably looks something like this, right?
Yeah.
You guys with me on that? So when I say it probably looked something like this, like here's a sine or a cosine graph, right? And then maybe I should throw some axes on this jazz. And I'm going to forget that this plane took off, and I'm going to forget that it's going to land. I'm just going to go with the part where it seems like forever going up and down and up and down. You guys see that? So what are the axes on this thing? What are axes that would make sense? Yeah, like height maybe? Height of the plane above the ground, right? And this one?
How far it's going, distance.
Yeah,
Either
like
distance
time
or
or
speed.
position. Yeah, either one, right? Time or position. Like distance, what? West of Minneapolis would also be another kind of reasonable thing to put in here. This could be height above the ground. What else could it be? What else is going up and down in a weird way? I didn't describe this as I was going up and down, right? I described this as I felt slightly.
The plane itself? Is the plane's going up and
Yeah, I said I felt slightly lighter and then slightly heavier, and then slightly lighter and then slightly heavier, right? Yeah, so this could also be weight, right? So there's a number of kind of labels for these axes that would make sense. Let me go with height and time for now. Okay? Is this a usual sine graph?
Well, kind of ish. Just shifted up.
Yeah, okay, it depends on where I started it. Assuming that I hit this height right, I'm looking at this thing and I'm kind of thinking, okay, that's the top, so this is probably like a cosine maybe? Right? But where does cosine sit?
Usually on the x-axis too.
Yeah, usually like kind of laying on the x or the t axis, right? This one's way the heck up there. What the hell?
Just shifted.
Oh, good. So in the real world, right, when I want to talk about some kind of oscillating business, it's not gonna oscillate back and forth across zero, probably. It's gonna oscillate wherever the heck it sits. And then how much it oscillates probably isn't gonna be between 1 and -1, right?
Yeah.
You guys see that? And the rate at which it oscillates is probably not going to be that. What's the usual rate? Like, if I had to label this and I thought time was actually angle, what would this point, what would I suppose that bottom is? Yeah, I'd be saying something like this happens at pi. Right?
Yeah.
But what the heck are the units on that? That doesn't make sense in
Pi
pi
equals 1
units.
minute.
You guys see this? So I need to go back to algebra 2 and remember shifting rules. Okay? That's my motivation for this. I think I shifted this up some. I probably compressed or stretched. I probably compressed or stretched vertically. I maybe even shifted the thing side to side depending on where I start this. So I got to remember how all that jazz works. Cool. All right, so I would like you guys to give me the answer for why am I glad my flight was a shifted sine and cosine and not a tangent function? In one word?
Yeah.
Infinity. Infinity.
Infinity?
I thought that's how you entered it.
Never said
I mean,
plane.
infinity always scares me, though. It's like being scared of a dart. You should be scared of it. Maybe another word, starting with A? Asymptotes. Yeah, so why? Maybe a more robust explanation? Anybody got a good one?
Because you'd be going at nearly vertical angles and teleporting beneath the ground and disappearing at regular intervals.
Disappearing at regular.
Yeah, the disappearing in regular intervals is actually a really strange phenomenon. Yeah, right? I think that's primarily it.
You're getting into
As a
quantum
physical
mechanics.
object, crossing an asymptote is problematic. Right?
Yeah.
Or possibly this thing, right? Like, here's the ground somewhere. Here's your chunk of your shifted tangent function. This right here is not good for your health. Right? The picture of that, I think, looks something like this.
Smoke and
Like,
direct
there's
plane.
a crater with smoke, like maybe some mangled bits and bobs of people.
Like the pilot's just messing with you.
Okay,
That's
cool.
when he's like, oh, no.
All right, so